Hello, my name is Owen, and welcome to another weekly update. We're over halfway through October. Has anyone ever told you that? And you know what happens after October? The end of the year. November is the beginning of the end. And soon I'll be making videos like, what were my top 10 books of the year? What will I be reading in 2024? Those videos are on the horizon, guys, and quite frankly, I'm horrified. I smell the stench of jingle bells and candy canes, and I tremble with horror. Great time of year, though. But let's not focus on the future. Let's dwell in the past, like everybody should. Am I right? I had a productive week. I did a lot in regard to this channel and reading, and I also didn't do one thing, which is also equally important. In terms of what happened on the channel, I posted my weekly update last week, obviously. Then I did have to re-record my Ship of Magic review, and I as much as I typed it up, the original thing, I think it was better that I did a second time, even though I just forgot some character names. It was a little bit more refined, and maybe that taught me a lesson about how maybe if I think about what I say and like reflect on it a little bit, my reviews are a little bit more coherent. But I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to re-record it again, because I really didn't want to. But I think the review turned out well, and luckily I love that book so much that re-recording a review on it isn't a tiresome thing to do. But that review came out, and then I posted, I guess, like a bonus video on a Saturday night, because usually I would post like on like a Thursday or like a Friday or maybe a Saturday morning. But I recorded a video, and I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like waiting till like 8 a.m. And I'm like, why don't I just post it when it's done? So I did. And that was what I love about books/reading. And I was proud of that video. I thought it was a good one. But what I'm even more proud of is the response from you guys on that video. I thought it was very wholesome, because there's like a decent handful of comments of like, I'm like, oh, like, what do you love about books? Outside of the reasons that I gave. And people gave like these paragraph responses to like what they love about reading and what they love about books and like what makes it so special to them, which is like extraordinarily wholesome. And I appreciate you all for taking your time to write a nice comment about that, about you and your own experiences. Like, it's like, it means the world. And you guys are like super wholesome, and I appreciate that. But that was a fun video, and I like to do more videos like that in the future, I guess when the inspiration strikes me. In terms of reading last week, I know I said that I was like in a slump for like long fantasy. I was just reading too many long fantasy books at the same time, and I wanted to read some shorter stories to kind of like change the rhythm up. And I think I can safely say that is a cure for a reading slump. I think that was exactly what I needed to do. Changing just the length of a book, of a story structure, was a great decision. And also like throwing in sci-fi in the sense of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, as well as it being short, was the perfect palate cleanser. So I think that's really the key. Changing genres and changing length, great palate cleanser. And I think my review of Hitchhikers, because I did finish it, by the way, my review of Hitchhikers will be coming out this week. I think I have mixed feelings about it. I'm not neutral on it. I do have thoughts about it, but like I said, it was a great palate cleanser. Its style, its tone, and it was very clever, but I don't think I loved it. And I think there's specific reasons why I didn't love it, and maybe I just don't, I feel like I don't understand it, I guess, a lot. Because I know a lot of people love this book in this series, but I'm not in love with it. And I think I'll talk about that a little bit more in my review, but if you're a big fan of Hitchhikers, you're gonna have to be prepared for that video, because I'm gonna need some community help on that one. And I also need community help on the other short story that I was reading, and I read, I was reading The Fall by Ryan Cahill, his Bound in the, I think it's The Bound and the Broken, is that what it's called? His series, because I watched Mike Book Review's video introducing the series and saying like it's like the greatest self-pub of all time, it's Game of Thrones on steroids or whatever. And he said in that video, and it was a great video, he said that The Fall is a free book on his website, great intro to the world, short story. I'm like, perfect, because I don't want to read those doorstop novels that are in that series. And if it's a great entry point and it's a prequel, maybe I'll get it, I'll get a taste for it, I know I'll be hooked, and I can put that on like my TBR officially. I had to DNF it, guys. I stopped reading it, and it's not like it was like super long short story. I only needed to give like probably 30 more minutes to it. But I had to not finish it. I got like 60% through. I quite frankly didn't enjoy it almost at all. And I'm not gonna condemn the entire series or the author. I just think that when they said that it was a great entry point into the series, they were wrong. What I need you guys to do is, if you've read the series, tell me whether or not it's good in the comments, like the series, the actual hardcore series, not the novellas, not the side stories. The problem, and I'm not going to do a full review of it because it's not a good review, is that it just kind of throws you. It's in vivo, right? They throw you right into the action, and it just reminded me of like, oh, like, you know, it'd be a cool fantasy world, like if people like pull swords out of their chest and like their soul is like a sword. That'd be sick. And that's like the amount of depth, because like cool things happen, people are riding dragons and stuff, but like I don't know these characters, and we're thrown immediately into fight scenes of like, you betrayed my entire bloodline. Okay, and then and it's just not even like, then we switch like perspectives in a short story. So like betrayal's happening, this person has a quest, and this person's fighting for his honor, and I'm like, I don't understand anything that's going on here, and this is not giving me any lore. It's just showing me fight scenes, and the reason why I think that didn't click with me, and I know some of you agree with me because you've said it on my comments before, the spectacle of fantasy isn't the most important thing for me. I think just reading epic fight scenes is almost like useless without like the character background, without like the meaning background, the people. Do you want them to? Who do I want to win in this fight? If I don't care, I don't care how cool you are, right? It's just like throwing on like Fast and the Furious 7, and it's like, look at this part. The car flies with a helicopter. Nice, good for you, man. That's what it felt like the whole time. I'm like, oh wow, good for you. You're fighting. You got a magic sword. Very nice. And I got 60% of the way through it, and when it switched perspectives for the third time, I'm like, okay, so it's gonna be another character I'm not gonna get any depth with, and they're just gonna do a fight scene. So I'm not saying the series is bad and it's just like action fluff. I think that it's just not an entry point, because I'm sure that the books start with the character, you build with the character, they grow into their power and introduce this fantasy world through their perspective, or some standard fantasy big series stuff. But this novella is just action, and without any of the background, it was a very, very tough read. So I stopped reading it. Because I think I'm being more picky about what I'm devoting my time to. If I'm not feeling a long series, I'm going to stop reading a long series. If I'm not feeling a book, I will not finish it. And usually before this year, really, I never didn't finish a book. And now I do it willy-nilly with some guilt, but not this time. Not this time at all. And speaking of DNFs, I had to give up on Stephen King, guys. 11/22/63. I think that was just a symptom of audiobook giving up on. Also because my phone blew up, remember that, and I lost my Libby login. So that's also a reason why I stopped reading it. But also, when I got it back the second time, like I renewed my loan on Libby, I didn't pick it up again. So I still had like 20 hours left with like 2 weeks to go. But I did lose my login, so I do have an excuse. But I'm not going to give up on that book completely. However, I think when I finish it, I'm going to have to pick it up in a physical copy or an ebook copy rather than audiobook. I just think it's too long. It's too long to delve into audiobook, I think. But other than that, guys, what are we doing for this week? Well, we're delving back into Malazan, certainly, back into House of Chains. It's been many a week since I really read that. And I'm going to finish part 1 of that book this week. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get East of Eden by John Steinbeck, and I'm going to start reading that as well. And I'm going to do probably Ship of Magic 2 as well. That's not what it's called. Live Ship Traders 2. And other than that, things have been going well. And it's going to be a fun week, and I think I'm starting to get back in my reading groove. I always say that and then end up lying. But I just want to say thank you to you all as well, because we passed 900 subscribers. And I appreciate that. That's mostly due to traction for some of my older videos, but also what I love about reading is picking up some steam as well. So I appreciate all your support. And if you're new, welcome. yes, this. If you're new, you don't know what happens at the end of videos sometimes. Sometimes I just stare aimlessly at the camera and just talk, and like lose focus, and just like I go insane a little bit. But then I say my classic catchphrase, which I didn't mean to make a catchphrase, but then just kind of stuck. Thanks for sticking around.